But let's go to my biggest complaint. My biggest complaint. Welcome. So I just saw the movie Hard Eyes, and I wanted to give my thoughts on it. So for those of you who have not seen the trailer, Hard Eyes is about a masked serial killer who stalks and murders couples every year on Valentine's Day, and well, it's that special time of year again. The movie stars Olivia Holt from Totally Killer and Cruel Summer, Mason Gooding from Screams 5, 6, and soon to be 7, Jordana Brewster from The Faculty and those car movies that you might be familiar with, and of course Devon Sawa from Final Destination, Idle Hands, Casper. Can I keep you? Needless to say, this is one of the movies I was actually really looking forward to for 2025. One, because Devon Sawa. I haven't seen him in a while. I feel like we don't see him enough in things, and I grew up in the 90s. Devon Sawa, he was a thing. I mean, he's still a thing, but like he was a heartthrob. So I was very excited to see that he was on this cast list. Another reason, I love holiday-themed horror movies, especially when they're the non-Halloween ones. Like, I love the Halloween ones, but like when they're non-Halloween themed, like My Bloody Valentine from 1981 is actually one of my favorite older horror movies. I like it more than the remake. I don't know if that's a hot take. I watch it every year on Valentine's Day. Okay, actually, I alternate between that and the remake, but I always prefer the 1981 version. But what I love about like holiday-themed horror movies is they always lean into the dark comedy, and I think, no, actually, I know dark comedy is my favorite subgenre of horror, and I'd say it just beats out slashers, which are my close second. And looking at this movie, it looks like it is a slasher comedy with a fun romantic twist. So I was on board and I was excited. So I saw this movie on a Friday at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It was myself and 3 other people. And I don't like to speak for other people, but I feel like we all had a pretty good time. We all laughed. I heard us. And obviously this, like a lot of horror movies and like a lot of, I'd say, dark comedies or just plain comedies, I think it would be a better experience with more people in the theater, but I can't control that. But it was fun. We all, like I said, we all laughed. I heard us. So I'm going to try and avoid spoilers in this review. If I fail, you will see a timestamp right about here. Is it there? So let's start with the good first. I really appreciate that this movie tried to be like a super hybrid of 3 different genres, horror, romance, and comedy, a horromedy, if you will. I think that when it comes to slasher movies, I think they oftentimes might work in comedy, and maybe they will weave in a storyline that includes romance, but I don't think any ever really, or most, I don't know if there's not any. Most don't ever really try and fully dance the dance of being a romantic comedy, and this movie definitely does that. Does it always work? No. But does it work a lot of the time? Yes. And I enjoyed that. I thought it was unique, and I thought it was very innovative, how much they leaned into the romantic comedy aspect of the film. But yeah, this movie does that. It does it in a fun way, and a lot of the time it's executed very well, especially when they are making fun of romantic comedies and kind of poking fun at them. I really loved the opening sequence of this movie, especially the opening song, Lone Star Amazed. I have a love-hate relationship with it because it was my sister's like song with her boyfriend in high school, so it just plagued our house for years, but it still made me feel very nostalgic for middle school, high school time when it came out. And it is probably a very cliche romantic comedy song, so I already knew where this movie was going, and I was very appreciative of it. Because if we can't make fun of things, why are we doing anything? Why are we here? Overall, some other positives. I think that the cast is great. I think that the characters were fun. I also feel like the acting overall was really good. In 90% of the movie, I'd say the acting was good. Now, there were some characters and some scenes that did get a little bit too campy for my taste, but that, I guess that's technically not the actor's fault, right? That's the way it was written, and they did a good job executing those scenes. It was just a little bit over the top for me, personally. And I enjoy campy movies, but there was just a couple moments where it felt a little bit cringy for me. But honestly, I think one of the things that this movie did really, really well was that overall, like, the comedy was delivered beautifully. Again, I laughed out loud a lot. I heard other people, okay, the 3 other people in the theater laugh out loud also, so I know that it wasn't just my own personal comedic taste, even though it's possible that all four of us had the same style of comedy that we like, but I thought Mason Gooding's lines especially, like he delivered some really, really good lines, comedic lines especially. I thought he was very enjoyable. I think he is a very good actor. Another plus to this movie is visually it looks really good. Like everything looks good, the kills look good, and I would say that it was fun because there's a couple times where it changed, the camera like kind of changes perspective, and it makes you feel a little bit more like you're immersed in the movie, which is fun. Not to like, you know, a violent nature level obviously, but it did that a few times here and there, and it was a nice little change up. It kept your interest. And I'd say the last good thing definitely is that the kills were fantastic. I thought the kills, while a lot of them are very, very quick, they're all very, very unique. They're not just run-of-the-mill, boring things that you might, you know, typically see in a slasher. They were a lot of fun, and I think that was actually probably one of the best things about the movie was the kills. So if you were looking for a slasher with good kills, this is definitely going to be your movie. I think if you are looking for something a little outside the box that includes more romance, if you don't mind that, this could be your movie. But let's go to my biggest complaint. My biggest complaint. So while I love that this movie tried to like combine 3 different genres at once, I do feel like there were a few scenes, one in particular, where it did not work. In fact, I think it hurt the scene that they tried to do all of these different aspects into one thing. It's a scene where they leaned definitely more into the rom-com when I feel like they should have leaned more into the horror. And the fact that they leaned more into the rom-com, I feel like it blunted any of the potential intensity and emotions that we could have really felt in it. And this left me disappointed because I am a horror fan. So there are certain scenes that I do expect to feel a certain way in, and I did not feel that from this scene. And I think I would have been okay if I'd felt something else, but I felt like I didn't feel anything because I feel like it tried to make me feel too many different things at once, and that made it really mucky, and so I just chose not to feel anything apparently.
I am dead inside.
And that and it was kind of hard for me to recover from that. I like the rest of the movie, luckily it's in like the last third of the film. It's like in the final parts of the movie, so it was like it didn't ruin the movie for me, but it was kind of hard for me to recover, and so I kind of felt meh for the rest of the movie because it took me down so much. Like I was riding pretty high and enjoying it, and then I was kind of like, huh? So yeah, I'd say the movie starts off very, very strong, but then a little bit of a fizzle near the end, at least for me. I still found it very enjoyable, but they kind of lost me at the end because of that. And I think that probably the end for me was the weakest part of the movie. Now, overall, again, very fun experience, highly enjoyable. I think if you like slashers, you'll like it. I think if you like comedies, you'll like it. But I think it also could be a fun movie to take people that maybe don't usually love horror and are more rom-com-y people, because it'd be kind of fun to see what their take is on it. Do I think you should go see it? I think it is a fun movie experience to see in the theaters. I think obviously if you can get a good crowd in the theater, like a good size crowd, I think it would be really fun to see in the theaters. I think this would definitely be a fun date movie if that's your choice. And I think this is a movie I could definitely see myself rewatching. I think though if I rewatch it, I think when I get to the last third act of it, I might just, I might not give it my full attention. I might do other things, but I think the first 2/3 of the movie are really, really great. Again, just kind of lost me near the end. And overall, I think that the ending was a little predictable, but then they did do something with it that made you feel like I did not see coming, which I did think kind of added to the campiness of that scene. And that is one of the scenes where I felt like it was a little bit over the top, but they were going for it. That was the tone of the movie, so I guess it's fine. But yeah, overall, great acting, great kills, visually awesome, fun slasher. So I would recommend this. Do you have to see it in theaters? No, I guess not. It's something I can also see just being fun streaming at home, but I think it'd be something that'd be fun to watch with another person. But yeah, so that is it. Thank you for listening to my review on Hard Eyes, and until next time, bye.